Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Today is June 19th, and this is yet another SIG CLI meeting. Welcome, everyone. Before we get to the main topics, I would like to encourage all of you to add yourself in the attendee and the agenda. I linked the agenda in the chat. Currently, there's only one announcement that I have. The 1.15 release was delayed due to test issues. The SIG scaling is currently working on fixing those. The state out of from yesterday was that it will be delayed until today. I haven't heard about anything yet today. I'm guessing that'll take some time before the announcements go out. That basically means that the master is still in freeze mode. I think that's it. A quick update on the tests. I was the person looking after the test queue, the test for the past 2 weeks, and basically the tests were pretty cool. I'm guessing that's mostly because the code was frozen for some time.
Just a quick note on that, Mache. I've been looking into some GKE test failures, and it doesn't look like we've made any progress on that. But actually, we fixed one problem, and we actually uncovered another. And so I'm continuing to get those GKE tests working.
Perfect. I remember from my last time that the GKE were the only ones that were significantly failing. So thank you very much, Sean, for digging into those and fixing those.
So the GKE clusters are not coming up. And like I said, we fixed one problem. We've got another that we're working on.
Okay, perfect. Quick reminder, we have places if you're interested in becoming test on call for the SIG CLI, which basically means looking at the test grid and trying to help debug and respond to test failures for the tests that the SIG CLI is responsible for. Feel free to add your name to the test coverage update doc. Wrong. To the SIG CLI testing playbook. We still have places for the next rounds. Okay, so that's about it when it comes to announcement and test grid. I think we can now move to the main topics, and the first two are related to customize. I don't see Jeff on the call, but I think Jingfang can speak for both.
Can everybody see us?
I can hear, but you're very quiet.
Okay, can you see it now?
Can you see the screen?
Yes, I see your screen. I hear you now.
Okay, this is going to be short because the release notes are there and so forth. But yesterday we cut 2.1 of Customize, and it's got a lot of internal changes. And one external change is kind of a big deal. So the internal changes are now that Customize maintains resource order when it's been reading, when it reads resources in depth first form. So if you want to control your output, the resource ordering output, you can now just edit your customization file and specify things in the order you want them to appear. To get that appearance, you have to use a special flag because we didn't want to break existing behavior and people who are currently depending on the current output of Customize. So anyway, that's all explained in the release notes. Please take a look. The other thing is that there's plugins. So you can write, there's a framework for writing generators, which create resources, and transformers, which modify resources. And the plugin framework is actually used internally by Kustomize itself. So everything that Kustomize does now has been re-expressed in plugin form. This is to make sure that the framework makes sense and to help clarify what kind of API a plugin author would need and expect. So that API is alpha now. You have access to, a plugin author has access to, various packages that are used in Kustomize for, loading and manipulating resources and so on. So as that settles down, if people do use transformers and generator plugins, we'll find out more about the API and lock it down a little bit further in future releases. So right now it's alpha. It's gonna change. There's a couple more things. There's a flag to remove load restrictions, which wasn't a very popular feature. There's a new field called inventory, which will generate a config map that contains an inventory of all the objects that are part of your build. And this can be used on the server side to do intelligent pruning. And then there's a bunch of miscellaneous field changes that you can go ahead and read about in the release notes. So that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The next topic actually is still related with the Kustomize. I'll let Jingfang speak about it, unless there are questions with regards to Kustomize 2.10 release. I guess there's not that many questions. Okay, Jingfang, go ahead with the cap of yours.
Okay, so the cap is here. It's about expanding how we handle patches in Kustomize. So first, I'm going to talk about what's the current strategy we select for patches. So in current Kustomize, we have two types of patches. One is strategic merge patch. The other is JSON patch. And each of them have this different format. Let's say for one patch, it can only be applied to one resource. If you want to apply the same patch to multiple resources or to different resources, you have to write multiple patches. So that is the limitation of current patches. And in this cap, we'd like to extend the patching mechanism and making it possible to support multiple targets by only one patch. So this is related to some usage, like maybe you want to, maybe some user, they want to, by one patch, they change all the container arguments, or by one patch, they inject an extra container to all the containers in different resources. And the proposal I have here is to change the patch type to a different struct. And here I listed details like what field it should have. And here, so let's take a look at one example. So by this new proposal, we have patches. It's just one single field. We don't have strategic merge patch or JSON patch 6902 anymore. So those will be covered by the same patches directive. And in this patches is a list of object. Like in each of the item, you can specify what is the patch file and what is the type of that patch file, either strategic merge patch or JSON patch. The more interesting part is the target. So for the target, you can specify what is my group version kind and object, or we can specify what is the match annotation or label selector. So by this way, we allow the patch file specified in each item to be applied to multiple targets. So that's the basic idea of the cap. Comments? Any comments?
So I guess you will be writing your patch as you would previously did, but on top of that, you're writing a higher level file that just tells this patch should be applied to these resources that are matching either annotation or selectors, or all of that will be then still within a single file, meaning that the file defines how the patches are applied as well as the patch itself.
So these parts, the file for the patch is the same as previously. You can use the same strategic merge patch file or JSON patch file. And the patches here, they are part of the customization file.
Okay. Since you mentioned that the file already contains the information about what kind of type is it, why do we need to specify it again in the example that you're showing off?
Not necessary. Let's say in a strategic merge patch, you could specify the group version kind name of the resource, but you can override that by the target.
Yeah, but that should not change the type of the patch. The patch that you wrote inside of the path to patch.yum will be always, there is no difference in the patch structure, because either you're using strategic merge parts, which has a different form than the JSON patch. You can't mix and match those two, nor apply SMP and then say this is a JSON patch, because it won't work, obviously. If you say that this is SMP, but you try to pass over JSON patch, eventually this will fail due to incompatibilities. That's why I'm asking why we need to specify the type here, if the type can be easily implied from the patch file itself.
So if we only have two types like strategic merge patch or JSON patch, we can detect the type automatically by customizing.
Yes.
And the reason I put type here is to make sure, like in the future, if we want to support more types of patches, we have a way to select a type or let user specify the type.
Do you have a patch file handy that you can bring up to the screen, maybe?
Patch file, I can find one from the
examples? Yeah.
From customized example. So here is a JSON patch. For example, here is a JSON patch file. It could be either like this format or this format. It's quite different from the strategic merge patch.
Okay, I think it is still valid in that case. Do we expect that if no type is provided, we will default to one of them, or we just require the type to be provided always?
I would say we can make type as optional. If it's not provided, we can default by the content of the patch file. If type is specified, then we need to validate if the type specified matches with the content of the patch file.
Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable.
Okay.
Are there any other questions with regards to customized patch behavior? Okay, hearing none. In that case, I'm going to jump to the next topic that popped up in the last week in the SIG CLI mailing list, which is, I can't remember who was the original poster, but the idea is to set up a new special interest group that will be specifically interested in overall UX/usability design. I link the CAP to, which is introducing the SIG. I would really like to see some of the outcomes of the SIG work to influence kubectl at the end at some point in time, because I do hope that even though the usability will be touching SIG apps, will be touching the web UI part, I think kubectl will be the biggest consumer of the advices from the SIG usability. It still hasn't been fully completed. It'll probably take some more time to get the SIG running. But I'm guessing, I'm not sure if I'll be able to personally attend the additional SIG meetings, but it would be good if some of us, and I'll definitely ask members of SIG usability to report back to our SIG from time to time with regards to eventual guidelines or requirements that we'd like to see being applied within the kubectl, as I'm thinking the kubectl has a lot of things that we can improve. So I would totally encourage each and every one of you to have a look at that document and leave your comments in that area. Okay.
Where is the document?
I linked that. I linked the community PR in the agenda, but sure,
Okay.
let me actually link that one again in the chat, just to make sure that people see that one. This is the PR for this, but it is also in the agenda if someone else wants to look at it after the meeting.
Thank you.
It basically will decide what is the scope of the SIG, how the SIG will interact with others. We want to make sure that this SIG will report back to SIG CLI. Cool. Are there any other topics that people want to bring up before we move to stand-ups in that case? Because I don't see anything else currently in the agenda. Okay, hearing none, let's move then to the stand-ups. I'll let Sean take the floor first because he mentioned that he will be leaving in a couple of minutes.
So there's really not much to report with the kubectl independence, although we definitely will have plenty of PRs coming out as soon as we unfreeze, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, whenever the unfreeze happens. I've already started some PRs to move some of our most independent chunks of code, which is basically package kubectl util, which everybody else depends on. Moving that first to staging, and then some of the things that depend on that. Maciej was mentioning this is a good strategy for anybody else who intends to pile on here, that we try to keep these PRs as small as possible, and that wherever possible, small commits for different steps, like the move would be one commit within the PR, and then the changing the imports would be the next commit, so that it's easy to go through the commits and see the small discrete steps And again, trying to keep these PRs as small as possible. It's kind of hard to do because generally once you move something, it ends up pulling other pieces in. But that's where we're at now. We still have the 3 areas that are not able to move, which is kubectl convert, which will be deprecated in 117, the auth reconcile, which has an RBAC dependency, which we still haven't done anything with yet. And then I have on my plate now the ability to the last one is the printing. We're relying on internal objects on printing, but we're going to actually remove that dependency now. We can now at 116, we can assume server-side printing, according to Jordan. So that PR will be coming out, and I'll probably have to clean up a bunch of tests with that, but that will be coming out soon as well. Those are the 3 areas remaining. Once we get those 3 areas, then everything can go into staging, and we'll have our own repository.
Sean, when you will be putting together those PRs so that we get a faster turnaround, can you please ping me on Slack with the number of the PRs? My GitHub notifications are currently so behind that I won't be able to do anything. But if you have anything within the next 2 weeks, basically until the end of June, I can help review those and push them forward later on. I'll be out, but I think there will be some people from my team that will be able to help you slowly, because I would like them to get some experience, but at the same time, they have some experience moving code back and forth, because we've been doing something similar in the past couple of months.
Yeah, so I'll definitely ping you on those. I have a week and a half left before I go on vacation too for 2 weeks. So okay. I think we're on the same schedule.
Cool. Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any topics that they want to bring, that they want to share with the others?
Is there any updates on the CUI, on the kubectl UI or the CUI project? Or is anybody from that project here today?
Nat is here.
Nat?
Yeah, so we've been making pretty good progress. We actually have a team behind us now, which has helped quite a bit. We have a couple of designers and developers devoted to the project, in addition to myself and my colleague in research. That's the first thing. We've made pretty good progress. So we're going to have a landing page pretty soon, today or tomorrow. We actually got a good tweet or 2 out of KubeCon, and I started a blog, and so we've actually have a bit of momentum. We have 330 stars now. We have about 60 to 100 claps and followers on the Medium blog. So we're starting to build some momentum there, I think, behind it. So yeah, we're making good progress on all fronts. A lot of UI refinements and bug fixes. It's actually getting to be pretty visible now as a solid terminal.
Okay, that's good to hear. I'm very happy for that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I mean, next stop 1,000 stars, but 330 is better than the 28 we had a month ago. So
definitely.
Yeah. There seems to be pretty good general interest. Just judging from the stars and from the claps. This is just a week ago. I started blogging about it, and already a fair number of claps and follows. So we're going to start sort of adding sort of a cadence there for blogs. So we add a blog on Tecton. There's now some Tecton integration for flow and sequence views. We're going to do some OpenShift and operator management stuff. It's just in sort of alpha now, but once we had tests, we're going to release that and blog about that as well. So we're going to try to have a cadence of features and announcements over the next month or so.
And if you're new to SIG CLI meetings, I just posted the link to Koi. If you haven't checked that one yet, you should definitely go look through our meeting notes. Nick has done a very awesome introduction into Koi a couple weeks back. The recording is definitely somewhere on YouTube already. So, just scroll through the agenda and find Koi. It should be there, and just watch and see. If you haven't got a chance, definitely give it a try on yourself.
Thanks, Maciej. The UI is pretty dramatically improved since then. Now that the tabs look like conventional tabs, we have tab completion actually, so cross-platform tab completion of Kubernetes resource names and namespaces and Git branches. So we're really starting to refine and to enrich it since those videos. So the blogs cover some of the new features, but the intention is to really start this cadence of announcements and blogging, because we're going to be making pretty rapid progress, even continuing from here on.
Perfect. Are there any other things that people want to share with the group? If you're new to the group, because I know there are some people that are new to this group, feel free to speak up and introduce yourself as well. That's perfectly valid option as well. If you want to just listen, that's completely fine as well.
Hi, I'm Sally. I work with Maciej. I'm new to his team. I was on the auth team for OpenShift for a while. I just moved over. That's it.
Welcome, Sally.
Thank you.
I'm also new.
Hey.
My name is Sara, and I want to start contributing to SIG CLI. So I start my new job in 5 weeks. So I want to take the opportunity of this time off to start contributing. So any help will be more than welcome.
Perfect. I did a quick code tour in Barcelona over a month ago during the introduction session.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
You've seen that one? Perfect. I hope that it shed at least a little bit of light how the kubectl is structured and how to mingle with it.
Yeah, one of the things that I did was I think I mentioned it on Slack as well. Based on the contributed guidelines that you published, I created the 2 hello Kubernetes, hello world commands, published those in a branch just to play around. So basically, I'm now looking for something I could start with.
Okay.
I think more or less I know how the code is structured now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I don't think we have any first-time issues. We should probably work on it. I'm hoping that we'll have some more time later this year to actually structure the amount of issues that we have overall. But please ping me on Slack. I'll try to find you some issues. Eventually, you could, if you're interested, you can help Sean with moving the code over to the staging. I know it seems kind of daunting or hard. It actually is not that bad. So either this or just ping me on Slack. It might take me some time to go through my Slack. I'm a little bit behind with all of the notifications currently. And the worst part is that I'll be leaving for PTO within the next 2 weeks. So and what Sean just said, he will be out as well. So please don't don't run away if we don't speak during the month of July, because as you probably expect, a lot of people will be out and moving back and forth due to holiday season. So if you're interested in, please reach out to me on Slack within this and next week. I'll try to find you something or some issues that you might be interested in working in, or we can try to figure out what
Cool.
you.
That'd be perfect. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, because probably in 5 weeks I'll have definitely less time. So
okay.
definitely
You'll find me on Slack and on GitHub under this nickname, basically.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. I'm so happy that our SIG is growing in new contributors. Welcome. Does anyone else want to add something or just say hello?
I'm Mike. I have been working with Machi for a couple months. I'm also relatively new to focusing on CLI. Just joining the meeting, seeing what's going on.
Welcome, Mike. Okay, I think since there are no other topics, questions, or concerns that people have, we might want to close this meeting earlier today. I'm going to give you back about 15 minutes of your time. Thank you very much for joining the meeting, and see you in a couple of weeks because I'll be out the next time you guys all meet. Should be back in August though. Thank you all. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.